Right now, as you're watching this, your cells are living inside your mother's brain. I'm not speaking metaphorically, I mean literally. Your DNA is swimming around in her neural tissue, and it's been there since before you were born. And here's what's wild. 1,400 years ago, a prophet of God, the teacher of humanity in Arabia, described the mother-child bond in a way that modern neuroscience is only now beginning to understand. But before we get into that mind-blowing science, let me ask you something uncomfortable. When's the last time you called your mom just to say thank you? Not on her birthday, not on Mother's Day, just because. Yeah, that's what I thought. Today we're diving into why the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said your mother 3 times before mentioning anyone else, and why modern science is proving he wasn't exaggerating. Picture this. It's 7th century Arabia. A man approaches the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, with what seems like a straightforward question, the kind we might ask a life coach today. He asks, "Who deserves my best treatment?" The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, answered, "Your mother." Okay, simple enough. But then the guy asks again. Right, but then who? The Prophet replied again, "Your mother." He asked again. Okay, but after that, the Prophet replied again, "Your mother." Finally, on the 4th ask, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, says, "Your father." 3 times, 3 consecutive times before mentioning anyone else. Now, you might be thinking this is just religious sentiment, maybe some cultural thing from a patriarchal society trying to compensate, but here's where this gets absolutely wild, and why we need to talk about what modern science has discovered. Because this wasn't poetic exaggeration. This was a precise description of reality we're only now able to measure with fMRI machines and DNA sequencing. In 2015, researchers at the National Institutes of Health discovered something that sounds like science fiction. During pregnancy, fetal cells cross the placenta and take up residence in the mother's body. And here's the kicker. They stay there for decades, sometimes for the rest of her life. Your cells are literally living inside your mother's brain right now. This phenomenon is called microchimerism, and scientists are finding these cells might actually repair her tissues, protect her from certain diseases, and create a biological alarm system. But it goes even deeper. Neuroscientists using fMRI technology have discovered that when a mother sees her child in distress, even as adults, the pain centers in her own brain light up as if she's experiencing that pain herself. There's a literal neural mirroring happening, a brain-to-brain link that science dismissed as superstition for centuries. That mother's intuition everyone talks about? It's not mystical mumbo-jumbo. Mothers can predict their children's needs before the child expresses them. They wake up seconds before their baby cries. They sense danger before it manifests. Of course, it's believable that there is a special grace from God in the mother-child relationship. Modern neuroscience is essentially confirming that there is no other human relationship on Earth like the biological connection. 3 times he mentioned the mother, and science is showing us there are at least 3 distinct biological systems connecting mother and child: cellular, neurological, and hormonal. Coincidence? I don't think so. But let's put aside religion for a second. Let's put aside science. Let's talk about the raw, uncomfortable truth that every single person watching this video knows but rarely admits. There is exactly 1 person on this planet who would trade places with you in a heartbeat if death came knocking. 1 person who without hesitation would say, "Take me instead," if your life was on the line. Think about that. Your best friend? They love you, but would they die for you without a second thought? Your partner? Maybe, if you're incredibly lucky. Your father? Possibly, though statistically less certain than you'd think. But your mother? That's not even a question. That's an instinct so deep it doesn't register as a choice. It's biological programming mixed with something that transcends biology. And here's what's messed up. We treat the people who would die for us with the least intentionality. We save our best behavior for our bosses, for first dates, for strangers on the internet we're trying to impress. Meanwhile, the woman who literally built your body from her own cells, she gets our leftovers, our exhaustion, our impatience, our "I'll call you back later, Mom." The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said something else that sounds extreme until you really calculate it. Even if you made shoes for your mother from your own skin, you still couldn't repair. Think about what that means. She didn't just carry you for 9 months, though that alone involved her organs shifting position, her bones literally softening, her immune system suppressing itself so it wouldn't reject you as a foreign invader. She endured hours or days of labor that medical science classifies as one of the most painful experiences a human can survive. The pain of childbirth, it's 57 dells on the pain scale. For reference, you can only feel 45 dells of pain before dying. She goes beyond what should be humanly survivable. Then came years of sleep deprivation. The CIA classifies sleep deprivation as torture when they do it to prisoners. Your mother volunteered for it, repeatedly, for years. She touched your literal feces hundreds of times. She gave up career opportunities, social opportunities, sometimes her own mental health and physical body permanently. And for what? For you to exist. Now here's where Islam offers something that goes beyond biology, beyond gratitude, into the realm of spiritual architecture. The Prophet said, "Paradise lies at the feet of mothers." Whether you're religious or not, let's break down what this actually means because it's profound on multiple levels. First, it's saying that if you want to reach your highest potential, whatever heaven means to you, whether that's peace, fulfillment, right relationship with the world, it starts with honoring the person who gave you life. But there's also this image of literal humility. Paradise is at her feet, meaning you should be willing to bow down, to serve her, to put her needs above your own ego. The Quran takes us even further. There's a verse that says, "And your Lord has decreed that you worship none but Him, and that you show kindness to parents. If one or both of them reach old age in your care, do not say to them even uff, nor rebuke them, but speak to them a noble word." Which is basically the equivalent of an annoyed sigh. You're commanded to speak to them with kindness and humility, and to pray for them just as they prayed for you when you were helpless. Don't even sigh at them. Think about that standard. When you were a baby, completely helpless, unable to feed yourself or communicate your needs, your mother didn't sigh in frustration and put you in an institution. She sacrificed everything to care for you. So when she's old and vulnerable, Islam says you owe her that same level of care and patience. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, went so far as to say that serving your mother is better than jihad, better than going out to fight in holy war. In a culture that valued martial honor above almost everything, he said taking care of your mom is a higher calling. That's how sacred this is. But here's where we need to get real about where we are as a society. We're living through a crisis of gratitude. Nursing homes are filled with parents whose children visit maybe once a month. We've created a culture that treats motherhood as just another job, just another role, rather than the sacred responsibility that shapes human civilization. Western culture in particular has this emphasis on independence, to the point where caring for aging parents is seen as a burden rather than an honor. But every culture on earth has some version of honor your mother written into its wisdom traditions, every single one. There's a reason mama is one of the first words babies speak in virtually every language. Because the mother-child bond isn't just social conditioning, it's not just evolution or religion or tradition, it operates on every level simultaneously, biological, psychological, social, and spiritual. And here's the hardest truth of all. You will never fully understand what your mother did for you until it's too late. If you're lucky enough to have kids yourself, you'll get a glimpse, but even then you won't really know what she specifically sacrificed because she spent your whole childhood making her sacrifices invisible. That's what good mothers do. They make the hard stuff look easy so you feel safe. So here's my challenge, and I'm not trying to guilt trip you, I'm including myself in this. When's the last time you treated your mother the way you'd treat someone you deeply respected? Not loved. We all love our moms. I'm talking about respected, honored, prioritized. Do you interrupt her when she talks? Do you get impatient when she doesn't understand technology? Do you visit her out of obligation or genuine desire? Here's what I want you to do right now. Pause this video. Seriously, pause it. Pick up your phone and call your mom. Don't text, just call. Ask, what's one specific thing I did as a kid that you remember making you happy? Then just listen. Don't defend yourself if she mentions something you stopped doing. Don't make it about you. Just listen to her memory. Thank her for sharing it, and tell her one specific thing you remember her doing that you never properly thanked her for. 5 minutes, that's it. But I guarantee it'll hit different from your usual interaction. And then, this week, not someday, this week, do something specific and intentional. Cook her favorite meal. Take her to that place she's mentioned wanting to visit. Sit with her for an hour without looking at your phone. Ask her about her dreams when she was your age. Thank her for something specific that shaped who you are. Don't wait for Mother's Day. Don't wait for her birthday. Don't wait until she's gone and you're standing at her funeral wishing you'd said more, done more, been more present. Now, I know some of you have complicated relationships with your mothers. Maybe there's trauma there. Maybe she wasn't perfect because no mother is. I'm not asking you to ignore that pain or pretend abuse didn't happen. That's not what Islam teaches either. But I am suggesting that even in complicated relationships, there are often moments of sacrifice that went unacknowledged. Find one. Acknowledge it. You don't have to fix everything, but you can honor the truth of what she did give. And for those who've lost their mothers, the connection doesn't end with death. You can still pray for her, give charity in her name, maintain relationships with her friends, carry on the values she tried to instill. The bond transforms, but it doesn't disappear. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, mentioned the mother 3 times before anyone else, not because mothers are perfect, but because the role itself, the biological, psychological, and spiritual burden of creating and nurturing life, deserves a level of recognition we rarely give it. Your mother grew you from 2 cells. She fed you from her body. She kept you alive when you were completely helpless. She stayed up on nights you don't even remember while you slept peacefully. That debt can't be repaid, but it can be honored, so honor it. Today, not someday. Modern science has confirmed what ancient wisdom knew. The bond between mother and child is the most powerful connection in human existence. Your cells live in her brain. Her pain centers fire when you're hurt. She would die for you without hesitation. Paradise lies at her feet. Whatever that means to you, peace, purpose, fulfillment, it starts with honoring the woman who gave you everything. Call your mom. If this video made you think differently, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Drop a comment telling me one specific thing your mother did that you never properly thanked her for. Let's start a thread of gratitude because she deserves it. And because someday, when she's gone, you'll wish you'd said it while she could still hear you.